Let's dive right into the Cavs, guys. Jay, you mentioned it a second ago. They have lost 3 games in a row, 2 to Houston. On Friday, they lost to the Philadelphia 76ers. They are 3-5 in their last 8 games. They are 7-5 in the month of January. They have fallen 1 game behind the Oklahoma City Thunder for the best record in the NBA. They are still, however, the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, a 4.5 game lead over the Boston Celtics. On the season, they are 36-9, but just 7-5 in January. Jay, G, Bull, in your opinion, what is going wrong for the Cavs of late, and can it be fixed?
Intoxication.
Reading their headlines.
Intoxication. Offense is intoxicating. When you start to see, all these 3-point shots go in, you starting to see people come in the flow of the offense, and you're putting up 150 points, and you're putting up this amount of points, and you're so efficient. What you start to do is you start to get intoxicated on the offensive end of the court, and you don't realize that you're giving up 135 on the other end. You realize that to get to the offensive end of the court, you got to secure a rebound. Mikey knows this. What does coaches in basketball always tell you?
Box out, you win.
Hey, if you don't secure the rebound, that's how you start offense. When you're doing that one out drill where the ball goes on the backboard and you boxing people out, that's the fundamentals of the game. When you watch these games, you see people turning the basket back to the basket, not blocking their man out. You see guys allowing cutters. You see guys that are not, being tough on the initial cut, or actually being at the tip of the sword, being like, hey, I got to take some individual one-on-one pride that I can't be letting guys waltz to the rim. And what you start to see is when you're giving up that many points, you realize, well, wow, we can't get stops. You watch the game against the Houston Rockets. They dwindled the league down to in the single digits, and what you start to see is every time they get close, there's a walk to the rim. Every time somebody get close, there's an open 3-point shot. And what they have to understand is you're not talented enough like that to get away with just outscoring people. You guys got to remember, you got to do it on both sides of the court. And as well, the physicality. The physicality has not been there. They've been getting bullied on the boards. Evan Mobley was out a little bit. But another thing that we have not seen, we saw earlier in the season, is working through the bigs, then getting the ball out, swinging it to other people, working inside out, making sure the bigs can pass to each other. I haven't seen that. The offense is stagnant. It's been a lot of ISO. It's been a lot of dribble. A lot of old stuff seeping in. And the best part about this is I like what Evan Mobley said. And they interviewed him. I like the fact that he said everything ain't going to be great. And this is a reminder that you're not going to come out here and just roll this basketball out and win these games. I'm glad they lost 3 in a row. I'm glad they hit this skid, because sometimes you get intoxicated with your own press clippings and how people is treating you. You were the darling in the NBA for about a month here, but guess what? This is January, and you're 7-5. So it's time to make some adjustments and get an attitude adjustment, Bull.
I'm not worried about this at all.
At all?
No. It's January. I mean, I'm going to admit that because the Cavs are not and no longer on pace for any kind of a all-time special season, my interest has waned a little bit. And I'm back to my old mindset of I don't care that much about the regular season. But I'm still watching the games, even though I'm not feeling as passionate about it.
Right.
The reason I'm not worried about it is because it's the middle of the season. I think we all should have realized, and I'm going to blame Mike here because he was overhyping the team. He's mostly to blame.
Wow. Mike was the only one.
The only person in the whole entire NBA.
The rest of us don't know what the hell we're talking about. Mike does, and he let us all down. You let us all down, Mike, I got to say.
That's blasphemous.
Taking bullets, man.
That's blasphemous.
The team, listen, we knew the Cavs were going to be good coming into the year. We didn't know how good. They played amazing basketball the first 35, 40 games, whatever it was. But we should have known that this team, as good as it is, didn't belong in the conversation with the all-time great teams.
Wait, I got to cut Bull off. Hold on. Bull, one time when you were in Jay's chair, you were sitting there, and I think I was on the panel. You
Yeah.
asked the question, who will lose more games in 2025, the Cavs or the Browns? You were the one insinuating that.
I remember him asking that.
Yeah, and we put it in the you were the one insinuating this team was on a historic rate.
I know, but I
put
don't
this
know
on me
crap
for
about basketball.
over-exag- were
You
the
do.
one-
You're supposed to be better than me, Mike.
So
what the hell
his
do I know
lack
about
of
I picked the
knowledge-
Cavs.
His
I
lack
was
of
right.
knowledge exonerates
It
him.
exonerates me.
Your knowledge implicates you.
Yes,
I was right.
You should
I
have
said
known.
the Cavs would lose more games than the Browns. And so far, looks
Yeah,
like I'm going to be right
well,
here.
And,
You're
and
gonna be right.
I don't think things are as bad as they are right now. And yeah, they're playing sloppy. Evan Mobley's missed some of the games. He just came back this last game. He's very important to what they do. And at this point, I'm like, all right, let's, it matters because you want to hold on to the 1 seed. To me, that's all that matters now,
That's
is
it.
holding on to the 1
That's it.
seed. I don't care what their final record is.
Oklahoma
Hold on
City
to the
now
1
has,
seed.
for the first time this year, a better record.
Yes, and I'll tell you something else. I think this takes. G said, "Oh, they needed some losing, whatever." I think part of that is now that takes. I think if there was any pressure to not make a trade because of the chemistry or whatever,
yeah.
that's out the window.
Yeah, I
I don't
like
know
that.
that there ever was any such
I like
thing.
that. I like that.
But like all the fans that were saying, "Don't mess with this team," well, that's out the window.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
you
I
got to
like
try
that.
to improve the team if you can. Hopefully, they can. We'll see. They're not a perfect basketball team, but they've played great most of the year. They're in a slump. I think they'll bounce back here sometime soon and play better. But yes, since Mobley got hurt especially, they've gone back to playing more ISO ball, which is less fun to watch and has been less successful. Hopefully that won't continue with Mobley back.
Yeah, I think the first 45 games was not a mirage. 40 games, whatever it was. That wasn't a mirage. That was real. We saw it. We watched it with our own eyes. But this is where my concern raises to a level higher than yours. You're at a 0 on the 0 to 10. I'm at a 3.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. And I could go to a 4 if they lose tonight. Tonight's a game that matters. In the standings, it's just another game. It might as well be Houston. It might as well be Philly, whatever. But this one matters because what JB has done in Detroit is almost miraculous. They've already won more games there this year than they won all of last year. He's doing there what he did here. He's taking a group of young kids, making them believe in themselves. He's given them a system, and they've bought in, and they're winning. I think that the Cavs players tonight should go out there with motivation to show, one, we're more the team that was the first 35 games, 40 games of the season than the last 12. So that's reason of motivation. And also, if you lose to JB, that's just a bad look on everybody. It's a bad look on the players. It's a bad look on the coach. I know it's only one game, but it does matter. People will talk about that. You also want to put this behind you as quickly as you can, and I think you want to do it before the All-Star break. You don't want this losing feeling to linger through the All-Star break. I think that can be bad. But again, I think somewhere in the middle lies the truth. They're not a 33-5 team, and they're not a 7-5 team. They're somewhere in between. They're a very good basketball team. The point that I agree with most that you made is it is critical this team gets the 1. Absolutely.
Yeah.
If they don't get the 1, they're not going to the finals.
But if they do, none of this mattered.
You're right.
Right?
Right.
Like,
No.
if they lose to the Pistons tonight and they finish in the 1 seed, it didn't matter.
Didn't matter at all. They can finish tied and have the tiebreaker, and all of this is for naught. The
The
regular
only
season
way this
means
slump
nothing.
matters is if it costs them the 1 seed.
That's
ultimately.
exactly right, and my hope is that it won't.
Yeah.
Mike, on the eye test, I'm watching a brand of basketball that barely resembles what I saw the first 35 games. All the quick passes that we saw, we still see it here and there, but that was their trademark. That was what we saw almost every possession. Now it just seems like they're throwing it in neutral, and they're waiting for the ball handler to either find himself a shot or find one open man. And it's just not as exciting, and it's not the winning formula.
Yeah, with Mobley back, their shot profile should go back a little more to what we had seen prior. I asked Kenny before the game on Saturday if he felt the Cavs had become too jump shot reliant without Mobley. And his answer was, and I'm quoting, hell no. And he went on to say, we're the best three-point shooting team in the league. The numbers bear that out. As long as we're getting good looks, we're going to miss some here and there. We're going to make others. We like the quality of the shot over necessarily the forcing bad attacks at the rim because we want more shots in the paint. But it's not the offense. even in January, Steve, go up one
right.
graphic here. Go up one graphic to January. They are 7-5 in January, right?
Yeah.
In the month of January, where do you think they rank in terms of offensive rating? They're
Well, we
number
know
one in the
'cause you
league
told us.
overall, by the way. Number one in the league overall. Where do you think they rank offensively in the month of January?
Oh, offensively. You told us
Offensively.
defensively.
I'll get to defense in a sec.
Offensively, I would say they're probably
Like 2.
still pretty high.
G nailed it. They're number 2.
Yeah.
The offense has not been the issue.
Not at all.
Despite the fact it doesn't look as pretty, Jay, despite the fact that the shot profile is not the same, they still have the second best offensive rating in basketball. It's literally 0.1 percentage points. It's 121.2 versus 121.3 for the season. Almost identical. The issue is what G alluded to earlier is on the defensive side of the ball. Steve, if you want to go down, we'll run through the numbers real quick, but they're averaging, allowing 118.3 points per game. That's 26 in the NBA in the month of January. Not every team's played 12 games. Some have played 13, some 11, but this is for the entire month. Their defensive rating, 28th. Opposing teams are shooting nearly 49% from the floor against them in January. It's the 25th worst mark in basketball. They're shooting almost 39% from three.
Mike,
And to G's point about rebounding, they have played some super athletic teams, which Houston's the number one rebounding team in basketball. And without Mobley, but if you're allowing teams to shoot that well and they're getting a ton of offensive rebounds, that's near the bottom third of the league, that is a recipe for disaster. And you have to be so much better offensively to counter out that.
By the way, the fact that Mike keeps using the term shot profile, that nobody else would use that term besides a basketball nerd, proves once again that he's to blame for the overhype. I mean, this is the ongoing theme throughout the situation.
I like that term, though.
It's a great term, but only a basketball nerd would use that term, Mike, correct? No random fan is saying bad shot
I don't know. I only
profile.
hang out with basketball nerds.
I'm going to tell you this, though. There's one thing.
But you know what I mean? Real quick. Does anyone not know what I mean when I say shot
No,
profile? Should
that's
I
why.
explain it?
That's why I like it.
busting
No,
your
you don't
balls.
need to. It explains itself.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Sometimes I use words that I think people get and maybe
It's
they
like
don't,
for a
so.
pitcher, a pitch profile. We know what
Yes,
that means.
the Cavs, I believe, have shot over 40% from three games in a row and lost. Like, that can't happen very often.
Because I keep trying to tell y'all, guess who? See, look, when they was balling out and they was number one in offense and like number two in defense, guess what? Who wasn't playing? You got Max Strus is getting a whole lot of minutes. His minutes is way up. Here's the problem.
Well, they have a number of guys banged up.
I get you, but here's your problem that you're gonna have in the playoffs. 6'2", 6'2", 6'3".
Well, they got to make a trade.
Yeah, no, that's a problem.
Hey, Mike.
That's your three guards. So if you and then you playing George Niang a lot. George Niang is a undersized power forward. If I say he's 6'6", I'm giving him a couple inches.
He's bigger than 6'6",
Boy,
isn't he?
man, he is a C6.
G-Bush is always trying to make Niang shorter.
George Niang is.
Don't criticize Niang. He's very
6'6".
sensitive.
He is nuts.
Niang?
Yeah.
He's 6'6", 6'7".
There it is. He is. So you got a 6'2" in Garland, a 6'2" in Mitchell, a 6'3" and a quarter, maybe, with Max Strus, and George Niang at 6'6". When you got long athletic wings and you got guys you playing against the Rockets, and you got guys that are athletic, you got guys that are big, they're getting the ball in the paint, they're getting extra rebounds, and you're getting destroyed. Yes, you have a nice three-point lineup, but if them threes ain't falling, you're not gonna win because you're not gonna win the battle on the boards. You're not gonna keep anybody in front of you, and those guys are gonna get 140 points on this end.
That's the key. I mean, with that small of three guys in there at that height, a hand in the face isn't really a hand in the face; it's a hand in the chest.
Mike, let me ask you this. I'm curious.
What's up, Bull?
Is their struggles on defense recently have more to do with, because my thought is it has more to do with, let's face it, they've faced much better competition the last
That's
month.
a big part of it, yeah.
I think it's more about that than the actual players on the Cavs playing worse defense.
I think it's a little of
probably
all of it.
both, but don't you think that's a big factor?
It's definitely a factor, and it's hard to quantify a specific number that indicates that teams are shooting better from three against them. They were shooting below league average in the first 2 months of the season. They're above. That's just kind of natural ebbs and flows of a season. Without Mobley in a few games, and I think this kind of stood out in that 3-game stretch that he wasn't there, Mobley and Allen kind of hide a lot of the defensive deficiencies from the backcourt because, hey, it's one thing to blow by whoever's out there. But then you got to finish over Evan and Jared.
That's a tough line to
And
get through.
especially when they're together, that's a nightmare. So that hides a lot of the lack of necessarily individual perimeter defense, because it's not the worst thing in the world if you get beat, because then they have to score over 2 6'10", 7-footers
Right.
who are both really good at protecting the rim.
What does Kenny say the problem is?
I wasn't there on Saturday's postgame,
Okay,
so I did not.
okay.
I don't want to say something that I didn't hear. But he mentioned pregame that this is the dog days of summer. In
It
baseball
is.
terms.
Yep.
And I forget who asked the question, and I apologize for it wasn't me, but someone asked the question. Kenny, does this feel like the dog days? And he said they have a 5-7, so 5 games and 7 nights, which takes a big physical toll. Then they have 2 days off, and they play another 5-7. Wow. And he was like, yeah, this feels like the hardest part of the season. We're traveling, no off days, we're not practicing. He goes, we just have to stay locked in and focused. And, yeah, you don't want to lose 3 games in a row. Absolutely. This team's too good to lose 3 games in a row. But it's part of the stretch of the season where any night, if you don't play pretty well and another team shoots great, you can get got.
The way they lost them, too. I mean, the loss Saturday night, they were down, I think, 17 or 19.
And make a furious comeback, but
they
just
come
came up short.
storming back, and then they just completely fell apart.
Yeah.
In the last 40 seconds or whatever it was. And so that's, I mean, you'd almost rather pull the stakes up
Well, that was the
and
same.
just run through the line.
Sorry to cut you off, Jay.
That's
but
okay.
The same thing happened in the first Rockets game.
Yes,
They were-
exactly
yeah,
the
you
same
know?
thing.
Copycat.
And Philly just felt like, oh my God, that felt like
That was-
you had to eat
yeah,
poison
terrible,
watching
yeah.
that game.
You got, well, look, here's where, and I'm looking for Donovan Mitchell for that. Sometimes I know your temperament is, okay, we'll be fine, we're okay, we good, we're still a great team. Sometimes you got to come in and rip people, and you got to have some fire and brimstone underneath you and say, listen, we lost 3 in a row. Everybody better get their ass in shape. Let's go. We're not losing this game. And early and often, you establish and you go to Evan Mobley and you challenge. See, these guys still young. I know that you want to bring them along and you want everybody to be equal, but you're not equal. Sometimes you got to challenge these dudes in real time. Evan Mobley, you down there against him, I'm going to you 5-6 times in a row. You better put him in the basket. Hey, Jared Allen, hey, I need you to get tough, bro. Come on. Like, he getting rebounds like that. Come on, bro. Like, he has to do that because those guys, they're a work in progress. When you win a lot of those games, sometimes you can get the false sense of security that the cake is already baked. Nah, that cake ain't baked. You still got 10 more minutes left to go in that oven, and Donovan Mitchell has to be the heat that provides that.
Do you guys think I overstated the importance of tonight?
No, you can't. Good teams. We've all watched great teams. The Celtics in the '80s, the Bulls in the '90s. We've seen the Golden State Warriors, even the Cleveland Cavs here in the 2010s. One thing that they all have in common with great teams is, at some point in time, somebody on the team says enough is enough.
Right.
We're going to start a new streak. They got us those 3 games, but we're not about to play these games.
This certainly feels like the time to stand up.
I understand what you're saying. Like, in the moment, it feels like a big game. I think in the grand scheme of the season, it's probably not, looking back. But right now, today, because they're playing so poorly and they've lost 3 in a row, there's some meaning. And you want to
need a
stick
streak
it
stopper
to the other coach.
Yeah, and you do not want, if you can list all of the teams in the league you don't want to lose to. I'm not saying Detroit would be 1, 2, or 3, but I think it's in the top 5. Their coach, who was run out of town, is doing a terrific job 3 hours up the road.
Yeah.
And I think this is a game that the Cavs better have 2 circles around, because they do not want it to go to 4, and they do not want the narrative of, wow, you just got had by JB. JB. You don't want that.